There have been a lot of trade rumors for the Chicago Bulls over the coming days and players that the Bulls could target. On today's episode, me and Pat are going to discuss those targets and which one would actually help the Chicago Bulls the most. We're going to talk about all that plus more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That's Pat, the designer, host, and creator of the Windy City Breeze, and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. He also seems to be dealing with a little bit of is that a hangover that you're dealing with over there, my boy?
No, not at all. Didn't have a drink last night. You know how black funerals go, so that was 2 days ago. I was dying.
And you had busy
last
time
night is just Tyrese Haliburton. What the Halley? He did, and then we had to record an entire show after that. So a little tired, you know what I mean? Don't want to show the bags on the eyes.
Listen, all right, we feel you. My name is Haize, host creator of Chicago Bulls Central, Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. And today's episode is brought to you guys by FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Don't be a loser. Pat, with that said, let's get into the content for today, man. There have been a lot of trade rumors around the Bulls over like the last week and a half. We've heard a lot of names in there, and this is after, we kind of expected more of a quiet offseason. But I want to talk about, kind of do a roundup, right, of all the names that have recently popped up for the Chicago Bulls, and which one does it seem like would actually help the team the most. So for the three that we're going to talk about today, we're going to have Jonathan Kuminga, who we're about a month now into the Jonathan Kuminga trades. Daniel Gafford, which has been one surrounding around potentially sending Lonzo Ball to the Dallas Mavericks, and one that popped up earlier in the week, Cam Whitmore. Apparently the Bulls are one of like 4 teams that have made calls on Cam Whitmore. That could be anything from an actual offer to anything of like, hey, would you move Cam? No? Okay, bet. But right. Those are the 3 names that we're going to talk about. Which one of those names do you think would help the Chicago Bulls the most?
It depends on the makeup and who you maintain on the team. If you're talking about the Bulls as who they are right now, the name that probably helps you the most is Daniel Gafford. Reason being is just he just fits in. You don't have to ask him to do much. Literally, he is the king of I'm not going out there looking for shots. I'm just gonna grab this thing off the glass. What Shaq or what Kobe told Shaq? Get it off the glass. like he's the king of get it off the glass. So I think that Gafford is the one probably who runs the floor the best. Who fits in the best, who's willing. I think the thing is, too, right, Gafford's not looking to be a star. Jonathan Kuminga wants to be the number 1 on a team that he gets traded to, more than likely, 1 or 2. Cam Whitmore's still kind of young in that same respect.
Only 2 years in.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Probably still looking for that, trying to figure himself out. To me, though, Daniel Gafford he's like, I'm a role player. I'm a big. I'm running the floor. Whatever y'all need me to do, I'm gonna block some shots, and I'm gonna be the hype guy out here, right?
Block some shots, get some crazy dunks, catch some lob passes from Josh Giddey, Kobe White. Like I can see the vision.
Yeah, I mean, like that's really the thing where it's like he just fits in, and I think he'd be a piece. That's the kind of piece to where if the Bulls take the step that they're expecting to take, that you want to go get, because that's the guy that's gonna be down there. Just I don't have to worry about him. He can do his job.
Well, he's the guy that fits, that you don't have to change anything for. He just fits in. He literally just fits in his role. You don't have to change anything you do in your offense, your pecking order, anything like that. He would just plug and play. The thing, the conversation that gets interesting, because we agree with that, gets interesting is Kuminga and Whitmore. And the main thing is because you have more of a proven thing, because you kind of see what Kuminga has done with getting like 9, 10 shots. He's getting you 12, 16 points sometimes, right? But Whitmore is the guy that's younger. You don't have to extend. He came into the league as a scorer. I think he's found his place defensively as well, because he's had to get in where he fits in with that Houston Rockets team. And so if it came down to Kuminga or Whitmore, I'd honestly probably pick Whitmore because of the other factors and how that doesn't really change what you're trying to do with your team much financially or anything like that. But I mean, the best answer here, if we're just talking about all things even, it has to be Daniel Gafford. It also seems like he's the one that could be got probably for the least amount of assets on top of fitting in with your team the easiest.
I think the one thing with Cam Whitmore too is, right, limited minutes, end up getting banged up, of course, but limited minutes throughout his 2 seasons, actually lost minutes last year.
Mm-hmm.
But is somebody who is one of the few young players that has shown efficiency in taking jump shots. One of the few players on the Rockets that actually seems like he cares a little bit about not just throwing the ball in the air, but actually trying to find good shots.
Also, as a starter for the Rockets, he averaged 25 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists. Just saying.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good right there.
Pretty good numbers.
Pretty good numbers right there. But I do think, Cam Whitmore will be somebody I would be interested in if the Kobe rumors are true.
See, I'm actually more interested in Whitmore if we keep Kobe, because you can slot Whitmore in at the 3, and I think he plays a more complementary game. But I understand too, like as far as offensive players, if you move Kobe off, then you get another offensive player, you can take a look at it. But I think he provides some of that potential spacing and kind of half court scoring that the Bulls lacked at times, even when we had Kobe and Giddey. Potential, all based off potential with Whitmore.
But again, right. My thing is the only reason you moving Kobe in my mind is you're like, Matas is the dude. We got to get him more shots. Which, if you bring in Whitmore in that situation, it's like, okay, Whitmore can be that floor spacer, still be that guy that can get to a bucket, but you come in here to be the number 2 scorer as Josh Giddey facilitates to both of y'all. I think there's still that weird. I don't even know if it's weird. I think there is this like tug of war that's going to happen to see, okay, who really is the number 1 early next season?
Well, I think they're both going to be number 1s in different ways. Like, whereas like with Zach and DeMar, for example, they were both scorers.
Yeah.
I think Giddey and Kobe can both be number 1s in the offense in different, because they want to do different things. Like Kobe is your scorer, Josh Giddey's your setup guy, and I think there's a place to find a balance for that if you need to. Again, we haven't seen it yet, because when they both were playing the best, they were both scoring around 20 points per game. So we haven't seen that aspect of it yet. But I think that maybe if you do double down on that backcourt, that's what you're hoping is going to eventually develop. But we'll see, I guess.
You know, the wildest thing about all 3 of these names is Daniel Gafford's 25.
Bro, I know. I saw that the other day when I was talking about Gaff, and I'm like, it feels like Gafford's been in the league 8 years already.
He has.
He's 25
he came in early. He came in 2019.
That's crazy.
But Daniel Gafford is 25. I was in there looking at it. I was like, dang. How long ago was 2019? Like, that feels like so incredibly long ago. But
he's 26, but that's not that big of a difference.
I mean, okay, 26. Like, it's just. It's weird to see. He shouldn't still be in his 20s. That's how it feels.
It's like Andre Drummond. It's like Andre Drummond was in the league for 11 years, and it felt like it's like he's 29. What?
Bro, who was the 2 we had on our team? Because Drummond was 32. How old was Drummond?
When we got him, he was 29.
When we got him, he was 29. But when he left, he was 31.
Yeah.
But we had somebody on our team who looked like they were 106.
About Javon Carter?
Like 11. Who?
Javon Carter? Is that what you talking about?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to remember.
Because Javon's like 28, I think? Bro, been rough.
Javon. Well, now we got THT, who is the ultimate grandpa.
That's the ultimate guy. Like, it's 24 and looking 46 is wild.
Bro, I'm telling you, dog. Like, imagine never having a good career. Meanwhile, Andre Drummond had like a Hall of Fame level career, and now it's just a role player because the league changed on him midway through.
Yeah.
THT looked like he should have been playing in the 80s and just never got that career to kick off.
That's crazy. You're not wrong, though.
He looked like he played with cocaine in the system.
Did you just say that?
I think you can say that. You can't say that.
You can say it, but it's just, that's shocking. He looks like he played with a little cocaine in the system.
Oh, I was the 80s basketball? Come on, dog. Everybody was playing with a little cocaine in this.
Crazy, bro.
80s basketball? Come on.
If you had to rate these guys 1 through 3, who's your number 1 option, number 2, last on the list?
For the team we currently have, or are we changing team?
Team currently, if you're just adding to, of course, what you have to give up to trade for them, but you're adding to what we have now.
Gafford, Whitmore, Kuminga. I think you have to restructure your team for the Kuminga trade to even make sense. Like, I really think you got to be like, F it, John, it's your team.
Either that or you're saying F it and just saying, hey, listen, go figure it out. Get them the ball. Like,
well, that's the problem. We don't want to.
I don't want. It's not ideal. I'm just saying that again. I don't put nothing past AK. Does it make sense? No. Does AK always make sense? No. So I'm not saying that's what I want to see. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me if we could walk in one day and it's like, oh, we added Jonathan Kuminga. Who do we give up? Kobe's still here. Matas is still here. Giddey's still here. Oh, okay.
Gave up Patrick Williams and 11 cents.
I mean, if you can get Kuminga for that price, then.
But we signed Jonathan Kuminga to a 10-year.
10-year, $260 million deal.
Signed him like a quarterback.
With that said, man, we're gonna get into a break. We're come back. We're gonna be talking about who has the highest ceiling on the Bulls, but not in the way that you're thinking, because I know the answer Pat's probably coming up with, but I got a different spin on that question. But first, we got to get to a message from FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. That all happened last night in Game 1. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game. Before tip-off and live, with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. Which players are showing up in the biggest moments? And how could tracking their trends help you build your next bet? That's what FanDuel helps you do. How could a $200 bonus in bets add to the excitement? And if your first $5 bet hits? New to FanDuel, it's a perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. More Locked On Bulls coming up next. All right, Pat. So I said it was a different spin on this question, right? So I was actually having a conversation over on Central, and the conversation was, okay, who is the draw, right, for free agents to sign here and things like that? Take away Matas, because we know that Matas is a rookie right now. I don't think Matas has shown anything yet that could be a draw for anybody to say, I got to go play with the Bulls for sure. Who do you think on this team has the highest ceiling to become that player that other players around the league could look at and say, that's a guy I really want to play with. I think he can help my game. We'll figure it out when we get over there. But this is somebody that I would be willing to go to the Bulls with because I want to play with this guy. Who do you think right now has the highest ceiling to have?
I think that's Josh Giddey.
You think it's Giddey? Okay.
I think that's Josh Giddey. You got to think about how most people are looking, especially with point guards around the league. Most point guards around the league are looking to be scorers right now. You've got two guys in the finals right now who probably are more of the facilitators than any of them, but and one of them is an absolute scorer, although not when you needed him to be. But I think that there's something that's always enticing, especially if you're a guy like Daniel Gafford, especially if you're a guy like Kuminga or Whitmore, right? And coming from a situation with where those two, where it's kind of like you fit in here, but like we can move on from you because we don't really know where you fit in perfectly yet. Those guys usually look to go be with good point guards. They usually look to go be with guys where it's like, you know how to space the floor out well. And I think that's the thing that when you look at Josh Giddey, like, yeah, Josh Giddey was a scorer last year. We talked about it a bunch. Josh Giddey wants to get everybody involved. He wants to have the 18, 12, and 10 days. He don't want to be at 30, 50, 30, 12, and 10. He wants to make sure that the team is clicking and the team is running. And so I think that's something that entices people to want to be on a team when you have that point guard. And I think it's the same thing, right? If Lonzo had stayed healthy, people would love to play with Lonzo. Like it's good point guard play is hard to come by in the modern NBA. And so I think that's something that is going to start to become, especially with what we're watching in the finals, overly valued.
I agree with you on that. I think you're 100% correct on that. Like when you have a good point guard, and especially a point guard that creates open looks for other players at the rate that Josh Giddey does, that is a draw for somebody. Now, depending on what the type of player you are, maybe you are looking for a scorer, things like that. But I think Josh Giddey's probably the one that you look at the most, and you say that he has that opportunity to do that. He's an unselfish player. Even though he's grown as a scorer some, we got to see how much that growth is going to maintain into next season. He still wants to facilitate. That's what he wants to do. If you ask Josh Giddey what he gets more enjoyment out of, I think getting on the fast breaks, those type of things. You still like. Let me be clear. Josh Giddey still wants to get up at least 10, 11 shots per game, but he's going to want to facilitate for other people. And I asked this question because I thought that would be your answer. And here's the thing that I'm going to ask you here, Pat. Is there any chance Jalen Williams, a restricted free agent in a couple of years, he has a great relationship with Josh Giddey? Do you think there's any chance in which we could be talking about in a couple of years if the Bulls play their cards right, depending on development for Matas, the 2025 draft pick, with Jalen Williams rough right now, estimate be somebody that you'd be interested in trying to go out there and get?
I'd be interested in getting him. I mean, listen, you see what he's doing right now. You see how he's played this season. He's like, it's so funny looking up players on OKC's numbers and stuff like that, because you just go, how's he also averaging 20?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's one of those guys. And I think that, outside of one really, really bad run last night,
12-2 with 2 minutes left. We'll talk about it. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah. One really bad run last night. You saw the impact of Jalen Williams on both ends all night. Like how he was affecting the game defensively, and how he often does affect the game defensively, while also being somebody who can just go out there, sit in that corner and kill you from the 3-point line. But now you're worried about the three. Let me pump fake you up. There it goes. Now let me get to a bucket down here. Like it you know what Jalen Williams is? This. It's a tough take. Jalen Williams is, for OKC, what Jaylen Brown would be if him and Jason Tatum fit together perfectly.
I could see that.
Like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum occupy so much of the same space. It's like, no, look at that. Like Jalen Williams is Jaylen Brown if he was like, all right, it's your turn. I'm going to get out the way. Now let me get in and fit in where I can. And like, that's how I feel about Jalen Williams. And a player that can do that is always somebody I'm interested in.
Yeah. I mean, highly unlikely that he leaves OKC.
Yeah, he's not leaving.
Yeah, he's not leaving. He's not leaving.
I'm not leaving.
But, it was just a conversation there. But no, I agree with you. I think so. Okay. After Josh Giddey, who would say is next up?
After Josh Giddey, I think you go with excitement. When I think, listen, it's a long way down, but it's modest. Like you go with the players want to play with people that are exciting. Players want to play with people that are willing to run and do the little things. And I think that's what we saw from Matas Buzelis. I think you have to start winning before that really matters. But if the Bulls can get to the point where they're a competitive basketball team next year, where they're a 42 to 45 win basketball team next season, I think you'll see players look at Matas and go, oh, okay, this young man's got some excitement. He's got the drive. He's got the fire. He's got the want to. I can go over there and make something happen with that team. And I think we can add another 5 to 6 wins in the regular season and, get to the playoffs. So I think players like that want to win, especially it's so funny, right? Like we always hear players talk about in the NBA that so many dudes are here just because it's the highest paid league in the world and they're good at basketball. And so they want to play. But not everybody is here to win. Matas has that mindset of, I want to go out there and I want to win. The Bulls, I remember last year, one of the moments that stood out to me was, I think Matas had his best game of the season. It was like 25 points, shot like 6 for 8 from the 3-point line, just balled out. But the Bulls lost. He's like, I don't care what I put up. We lost the game. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't think there's enough of those players in the NBA.
I mean, and that's the right mentality. That's winning mentality. And some people just have it naturally. Some people have to develop it. But Matas has that competitive nature, and winning is the most important thing to Matas, right? Like, even in the games where Matas did have big statistical outputs, you never felt like he was chasing that, right? Like, it's never like I need to prove a point by going out there and dropping 20. It's no, I was in a position to help my team. Let me go out and help my team. And I think that's a great mindset to build off of, and a great thing to have as far as culture setting. The Bulls have a lot of room, a lot of growth to do before we can say they have anything resembling a culture. But having guys like Matas, those are the right type of guys that you want around as you're trying to establish that. And so we hope that they can continue that for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's what it comes down to. That you have guys who, when you want to win, there is a drive unlike any other to accomplish that goal. And it pushes you to push others, because in basketball, the only way for me to win is if you doing your job the right way. Matas had to be the rookie this year and take all of the punches. We remember what happened that next year when Joakim Noah was on the team, and he was like, hey, brother, I'm tired of losing.
Yeah.
And you not better than me. Unfortunately,
we didn't even have to wait for that. His rookie year, he almost got in a fight with Ben Wallace. And that was when Joakim Noah was like 196 pounds wet. Like that, bro, he would have got murdered, bro.
They said, Joe said, I picked a fight with a dude we call Body.
No, but you remember he was like, people said, why would I try to fight the toughest guy in the league? Then like a few years down the road when Joakim realized he could be more honest, yeah, I try to fight him.
Hey, bro, he Rick James it. He Rick James it. Why would I put my feet on Eddie Couch? I put my feet on Eddie Couch.
But with that said, man, we'll continue on, man. Next up, we're going to be talking about game 1 of the NBA Finals. We know it's not a Bulls topic, but that game, that transcends any specific team. We're going to get into that right after this. All right, young Patrick, let's get into it, man.
Sound like I featured on 11 of them tracks on the Carter 6.
Bro.
It's over.
Bro.
So it was only my first listen.
Yeah, man.
Peanuts to an Elephant is one of the worst beats I've ever heard created. I know Cassidy was in the studio chopping that up.
Bro, I have no idea what that was, man. Anyway, hell, me and you both, we got better beats on that for the damn podcast. Game 1 of the NBA Finals, bro. This game was exactly why when people talk about, we don't want to see these teams, you got to watch basketball. This was such an exciting game. And when you look at how both teams, their strengths and weaknesses showed up in game 1. For the OKC Thunder, their ability to actually, they have, some people say you can't use forcing turnovers as a game plan, as like a tool. The Thunder have perfected being able to make that a tool. The Pacers have been a team that have been protective over the ball almost all postseason long. They forced them to 24 turnovers. They are up by double digits throughout most of that game. But the Pacers being well coached, being a team that plays for a full 48 minutes, they end up still winning that game, going on a 12-2 run with 2 minutes and 38 seconds left in the game. Tyrese Haliburton hits the go-ahead game-winning three-point shot. Pat, how'd you feel about game 1?
Listen, I came out of it with two thoughts. Number one, and I kind of changed on this anyway. I know I've talked about Rick Carlisle as somebody who I thought was just a dude. Yeah, he ain't just a dude. Rick Carlisle is one of the top 5 coaches. To get this team here, to keep this team fighting in this manner. And yes, Tyrese Haliburton has to, the players got to make shots. Tyrese Haliburton has to hit that shot. But the coaching that was going on in that 12-2 run was absolutely a masterclass. And he put Dagnall's head in a spin cycle. He never put Lou Dort on Tyrese. Lou Dort is the torture chamber on Tyrese. You didn't put Lou Dort on anybody who was impactful in that run.
But do you think that that's fear out of, if you put Dort on Tyrese, Pascal, and keep in mind, Tyrese didn't play a good game throughout the majority of that game.
He played poorly.
Yeah, so it's not
he really only got hot in that run.
Yeah, right. So it's like Tyrese Haliburton was killing them all game. You had to make that adjustment. But I do think that you're going to see, if Dan Golt's the coach that I think he is, and he's a great coach, you're going to see either Caruso or Dort on Haliburton all fourth quarter. They're going to be in his pocket the whole fourth quarter. But they're probably going to play him 48 feet.
I think here's the problem that I had with it, and where to me, that was a young coach not realizing that as you send your team out there, the conversation needs, because remember, there was the long timeout right before because they were trying to review the play. As you send your team out there, the conversation needs to be, we need to get this shot. If this shot does not fall, Lou Dort, you got Reese. Because there's only going to be enough time for the one shot. There's no way you thought Rick Carlisle, who hasn't done it to any point this season, was all of a sudden going to call a timeout. So, to me, it was that part is the part where it needed to be conversed to Lou Dort on that last drive. Because what you had was Alex Caruso on one side. He kind of got stuck because he had him and Pascal Siakam. He said, well, I'd rather give up the jump shot. Caruso said, I'd rather give up the jump shot than let you just dump it down here to Pascal for a two-hand jam. So I'm going to fall back. And essentially, Tyrese ended up getting a wide open look because they weren't organized in that moment. And to me, that was where Rick Carlisle just outdid everything because the Pacers were so incredibly organized. That last play was not a fluke. They knew exactly what they wanted to run if they got a shot. The screen came perfectly for him, and he just got a good look. They had the Thunder, who had been phenomenal defensively all night until that run out of position, and it was GG's by then. You gave him a pull-up midi. Like, he didn't even give him like a deep three. You gave him a pull-up midi.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Like, it was one of the most exciting.
Oshkosh.
Bro, it was one of the most exciting finishes to game one of the finals that I can remember. Like, especially for how that game went, bro. Like, and this puts a lot of pressure. Let me ask you this. Does this change at all your feelings on the series as a whole? I don't know who your predictions were. We never talked about it, but
I said OKC in 3, so I got to.
OKC in 3 is crazy.
Yeah, I said OKC in 3. I thought this was about to be a run. And I was right. For 46 minutes, Indiana did not do anything well.
Yeah, they didn't do shit well.
But no, man, like I think what it changes my opinion on is, like, right before they went on that run, we were doing it live on playback. And I said, this will be a forgotten NBA final. This will be one of those ones where you're like, oh yeah, Tyrese Haliburton did make the NBA finals. Now, at least for now, because listen, OKC is still, to me, I think OKC is still just, they have more talent. If they lock in defensively, like, they didn't shoot the ball well either.
At all. 38%, I think, as a team. Yeah.
And it was not because Indiana was playing great defense. It was because they were missing shots. Like, there were people wide open in the corner not knocking down shots. I think now we can remember this finals possibly like how we remember AI going to the NBA finals, which is, you know, a very memorable NBA finals for me. Kobe versus AI, you know what I mean? You get that opportunity to see that. This could be somewhere in there. But I tell you what, boy, don't let the Pacers keep hanging around.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna be up there with the Kevin Durant misses.
This puts the Thunder in a must-win scenario for game. You cannot lose game 2. There's no world in which you want to go to Indiana.
You go back
down
to Indiana.
You cannot do it. So they have to come out. They have to come out like they did after they lost game 1 to Denver. That was game 1, right? And then they came out and blew them out the second game.
Yeah.
Was that game 1? So yeah, they're gonna have to come out like that because you cannot allow. You got to stop this momentum. They got a lot of momentum right now coming off the hype of winning game 1. They've done it in your building. If the Pacers win game 2, bruh, that's gonna be tough.
Lit. They only got to get 1 in Indiana to be up 3.
Yeah.
Tell you this right now, man. Don't sleep on that boy from Oshkosh.
Man, if Gar was only around 1 more year, bro, you fired Gar 1 year early, Gar would have absolutely drafted Tyrese Haliburton.
Bro, Tyrese, the conversation Tyrese had around, I just knew I was going to the Bulls. Said, then they didn't pick me. I was like, oh, who? And we're still who? We don't know. We don't know who. Patrick Williams, that's who.
Anyway, any last thoughts, Pat, before we get up out of here, man?
Nah, man, I'm sad now. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer.
You guys can follow me at CEO Haize. Thank you for tuning in. Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube, the Odyssey app, Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, Fubo TV, basically anywhere you want us. You can get it. Catch you guys on the next one. See you guys Monday. Peace, y'all.
Peace.
You know the craziest thing is that Kobe and Haliburton would have been a hell of a backcourt together.
Yeah. Kobe, Haliburton, and Zach LaVine would have been. Zach might have been worth it.
Jesus.